Tomiyasu makes a mistake. De Bruyne scores! Saka scores! Grealish waiting. Jack Grealish scores! De Bruyne, Haaland. That could be that tonight. Nothing less than massive, this win for Manchester City.
Well, 10 days ago, 5 miles away from the Emirates Stadium, Manchester City were beaten by Spurs. At that point, they were 5 off Mikel Arteta's side. Reminder tonight, they've gone back to the top of the pile on goal difference, having played 1 game more than the Gunners. Does it feel hugely significant?
I think more psychologically, for me, to be honest with you, I think Arsenal once again left the door ajar for Manchester City to even close the gap to start with. And I think coming into this game, I felt like City were in the ascendancy, where Arsenal, I would have said, was a bit more cagey in respects of they know they had 2 games which they should have won, especially the way they've been playing, which they didn't. Whereas Arsenal lost one and then had that game to bounce back in the right direction. So I feel like Arsenal didn't come into this game, I would say, as confident as City did. But I think in the first half, it was all Arsenal. I thought Arsenal controlled the game well. I thought they made the better chances. The chances you would assume fell to the right person, being your number 9, but it just wasn't to be. And City, I felt like in the second half, got those chances that Arsenal had in the first half and put them away. So it was a great game for me, and it was a game of 2 halves.
Was the frustration in that second half when City took the lead that it came from Arsenal possession, Righty?
Yeah, a little bit. It's because it's situations like that where you have to make sure that you're tight and you don't give anything away, simply because City and the way they know how to navigate, like I say, this time of the year and what's going to happen if they can win this game, you can't give them a sniff. And especially in that area of the field where they're trying to win the ball back, because if they win it back there, they've got so much technical ability and quality and precision finishing that they are going to punish you. And that is what you're always worried about when you're playing against City. No matter what they're doing, if it's not quite going for them, they can have moments where it does click for them and the quality comes in. And that's what we saw again today. That's why it's paramount that you take the chances.
Yeah, it was Gabriel, wasn't it?
It was. And to be honest, we were very fortunate that he didn't give away a penalty, because he was offside. But again, it's just, for me here, the pass is into nowhere. And, City are literally setting traps for it there. You've got all their men around the ball. And then as soon as they win the ball, you look at it now, look at all the men closing in on Gabriel now. Look at that. Look, bang. They get the ball back, and then Haaland in space. And to be honest, his awareness here for a striker was very, very good, because he could have easily had a shot, but he made sure that he passed it on and then passed it on. So they definitely get the goal, get themselves in front, and so now they're in a comfortable position. So yeah, it was for me. It came down to a little bit of naivety, a little bit of inexperience. But they are the youngest team in the league, and you're going to get those kind of mistakes. But for me, again, Gabriel passing the ball into an area where he doesn't know where it's going is a problem. It's going to be a problem, and it was.
The fine margins when the top 2 in the league meet, and that deflection from Tomiyasu might have been crucial for Ramsdale there, Sean.
Yeah, it definitely was. I think Tomiyasu tries to get across as quick as it was, but this bounce down takes it over the arm of Ramsdale. Otherwise, for me personally, I think Ramsdale saves it. But I think the pass from Gundogan to know he was there the correct way, and it was just about hitting the target, which Jack tried to do. But he got a little bit lucky with the deflection. And I just feel like sometimes when you're in that run of form in those areas, especially as an attacker, you do manage to get those little pieces of luck.
You've spoken many times about De Bruyne's importance for Haaland. He had actually gone 3 league games without a goal, something of a drought given his high standards. But he ran straight to him after this goal. He knew the importance.
And yeah, I think this is, for me in general, look, like Dad said, they've set traps again. And then they just play their way out of it. And once the ball gets to Gundogan, De Bruyne's gone. And then Haaland just waits and the ball comes back, and his first touch was exquisite. And he just manages to get that right foot strike across. But look how quick he goes, and he's already knows where.
The touch is fantastic.
Yeah.
His touch there is underrated because it's coming at him really quick. De Bruyne, I think Zinchenko's the wrong side of him. De Bruyne's pass into it, bam. That is class, man. That's what I'm talking about. This is what you're getting with this guy. There's no joke business with him when he's in the box. He's killing you, man. He's finishing you. You know what I mean? And, you know, again, like, I thought he's all-round play. The fact that they're looking for him, he looked a lot more involved in the game. And then when he got his one chance, I think it was three shots, 2 on target, 1 goal. He's clinical, he's finishing it. And it's you can't give them them chances.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry about this. He's ruined your night, Ian, right? But he's going to talk to us live at the Emirates Stadium. Erling, very well done. Thanks for talking to us. How good does that feel in that game this evening?
Amazing, and thank you for the kind words from both. It was an amazing feeling, I have to say. It's one of my best feelings in my whole life. I'm 22 and a half years, and this feeling, oh my God, it was massive.
Was it because of the importance of the game, knowing that you guys can go top if you win this game? Because you look against Villa the other day, you guys look like you're back to something. And today, you know, especially the second half, you guys were very much in control for me, especially with the chances. Was it one that you wanted to make sure that you came here and win?
Yeah, and you know, when you think of Manchester City, we haven't had the best kind of season, but right now we're top of the league, you know, so that's also something to think of. We still have potential, and for me, we showed really. I'm going to be boring in typical English interview. We showed great character today, but we actually did, and it was in the end we worked so well together, and this is what we, you know, it's not easy to come away in every Premier League game, and this is what we, the champions, still have to do. We have to defend, we have to do this and that, and we have to fight still, you know, and this is exactly what we did today, and I'm so happy.
Yes,
Erling, congratulations. I'm happy here. My dad obviously isn't. But in general, like, how did you feel today within the game? I felt like you was more involved in build-ups, you was more involved in certain areas that you normally wouldn't, and they was looking for you a lot more as well, especially in behind.
Yeah, I felt, of course, more involved. The statistics will for sure show that. But in the end, it's about working as a team, and when Pep puts the plan, we try to follow it, and sometimes it works, sometimes it don't, and in the end I should be in the box shooting the ball, exactly what I did on the goal, you know, and this is my job, you know, and they will always be talking about I can do this different, I can do that, but that's my life, you know. I get criticized. Now it's already gone 15 minutes since I scored the last goal, so I'm already on it again, you know. And next game in 2.5 days, there will probably something else. Hopefully not, but we'll see. I cannot care about what people think, say, and write about me, you know. That's my life. I just have to try to enjoy every single game and enjoy my life with my family and friends, and to win games.
And as you say, you did enjoy that goal, and we saw once you'd scored it, you ran straight to Kevin De Bruyne, because this wonderful relationship was evident again, Erling.
Yeah, it's an amazing run from him, I think, as well. Exactly here. Yeah, it's fantastic. And I saw in his eyes right before he passed the ball, and we had a really nice kind of moment there, looking in each other's eyes. And this celebration, it was for me, it was on point as well. So if you can feel, if you can feel my knees now, you'll see they are still plenty of blood on them, and it was totally worth it.
How special is he in that relationship you've got that you're talking about?
Yeah, it's this kind of relationship you don't have to say where you want the ball, because he knows it, you know, and that's what's good about it, you know. He knows where I want the ball, and yeah, he's everybody knows how good he is, and I'll try to make sure he will get as many assists as possible, because he deserves it.
Yes. And just finally, Erling, I know there's a lot of football to be played, but does it feel like a statement win, a significant win? I mean, it's April since anyone went there in the league and won.
Yeah, of course, it is. We can say whatever we want, but everybody know it is, and there's still many games left. So 2 weeks ago we were out of the what do you say, the race, and now suddenly we are top of the league. So things change fast, and now we have to go on a run. It's about time we start winning back-to-back games, and in 2.5 days it's another one, and we have to be ready.
Brilliant. Well, very well played tonight, Erling, and thanks very much indeed
for
joining us.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Well done. Erling Haaland live from the... What a brilliant interview that was. You could see just how much it meant to him on a personal and team level there.
I think going to the Emirates, some people say they were in a bad spell, but they've always been a massive club, and any time you can beat Arsenal at home, I feel has always been an achievement. It's never been easy to go there, and it certainly isn't going to be any easier now that the way they are playing. So to have that achievement of going there and winning 3-1 when they haven't lost there in like 13 games is a massive, not only statement, but a confidence booster for City. And that's why I said before the show, if they do beat them, then you can see them going on a massive run because of the type of game and the players they played against today.
Yeah, I think that when you look at City and it's quite ominous, him saying things like, it's time for them to go on a run, win back-to-back games, because they know that this is the stage of the season where you need to start doing that. Because if you've got teams like Arsenal going to places like Everton, slipping up, unfortunately not getting the result against Brentford, and then you play them and then you beat them, and then what happens is that they want the next game to come as soon as they can, so as they can win that game again, then put even more pressure on Arsenal. Hopefully Arsenal maybe will learn something from it, and maybe chasing might be better than actually leading. You never know. Maybe there's too much pressure on that for them. Maybe people won't be expecting so much in respect of them being at the top. So what you're hoping now is that they're going to have to galvanise, because they've lost 2 out of the last 3 now, and they've got to keep it going, because this is a good season they're having up to this point. These times were coming, but it's how they were going to deal with them. I thought they dealt with them all right up to this point, but now they're going to have to just start to trying to get themselves together to start putting some wins together.
And even for a team with the experience of Manchester City, you could tell by his reaction just how much this meant before and after the game. One of the best feelings in football,
yes,
he said at the full-time whistle.
Well,
it's a big game for him, isn't it?
It's massive.
But that just says everything, doesn't it?
It's a massive game. I've always thought that. I think, like I said, you scoring against Arsenal or the teams in the top 4, especially when you're chasing them, and to go there and do what they've done, for me, it's a massive statement. But like he said, they got another game in 2.5 days. If they do not win that game and Arsenal win theirs, then I wouldn't say this is for nothing, but they're back where they started effectively. Yeah. So now they have to kick on.
But the thing with that, Sean, is, and this is the problem, and this is why Arsenal, they have to win the game in hand now, because now you have to put it back in City's court, so City don't feel like, okay, we've beat them, and if they don't win their game and City win again, then all of a sudden City start to kick on. Arsenal now, the pressure is now turned the other way. They have to win that game, because they have to get back in touch with City. They have to keep the pressure on. Otherwise, City will do that. They'll just run away with it.
OK, that was Erling Haaland live at the Emirates. Here's some Arsenal reaction now from their skipper, Martin Ødegaard.
Martin, commiserations. How do you sum up the night?
Yeah, I think the game is decided in the boxes, and that's where we weren't sharp enough. I think in front of the goal and in our own box as well. They were better, so apart from that, I think we played a good game. We did many good things, had many good periods, but we have to be better in the boxes.
Yeah, on another night, does Eddie Nketiah get a hat-trick?
Sorry?
On another night, does Eddie Nketiah maybe get a hat-trick?
Yeah, no, that's football. Sometimes it goes in, sometimes not. But as I said, that's where we have to improve. We have to be more clinical in front of goal and defend our box. And that's not just about one player, but about the whole team.
You got a penalty. Should there have been a second yellow card, do you think, for the goalkeeper, Ederson?
I don't know. I didn't think about that.
I think the manager was looking at the officials, thinking that might have been the case.
Okay. No, I don't know. I didn't see it clear enough, so I don't know.
What did you need to try and take from this game then? Because obviously Manchester City now are back on top. What has to be Arsenal's response?
No, as we said the whole season, stay calm, keep working hard, look for the next game, take it game by game. That's what we said the whole season, and it's the same now, So it's just one game we lost here today, and we have to look for the next one. So yeah, it's as he said that, a new game on Saturday and come back and win.
Did City show their experience tonight a bit? Were they streetwise at certain times?
I don't know if it's because of experience or what it is, but they were better than us in the boxes, and that's where we have to improve. So that's what we're going to work on, and come back and get better.
Yeah, what's the manager said?
A lot of the same things I said now. We did a lot of good things, but game is decided in front of the goals. So that's what we have to do.
And what did you make of the atmosphere here? Clearly, it's disappointing, the result for the fans, but what did you make of the atmosphere and the sense of momentum around this club, that you can now stay in the title race right to the end? That has to be the objective, clearly.
Yeah, again, unbelievable atmosphere. So grateful for everyone who came here today and made this game so special. So thank you so much to the fans, and yeah, we'll work hard and keep working to give them something to be happy about.
Will you get a quick chance to put it right at Aston Villa early on Saturday?
Yeah, new game coming up on Saturday, so then it's easy, to just change the focus and come back and get a win there. That's what we're going to try to do. So yeah.
Thank you, Martin.
Cheers.
Well, Martin Ødegaard alluding to both boxes there. You can see in terms of the shots, particularly City had 6 on target, just 1 in the 90 minutes from Arsenal. Incidentally, the possession, you don't see that very often. Manchester City are winning a game with 36% possession. I say very often because that is the least amount of possession in a Premier League game, home or away, for 11 years for City. Since, actually, they went to the Emirates back in April 2012 and they lost courtesy of a Mikel Arteta winning goal back in 2012. But as you said to us earlier on, Righty, it doesn't matter about the possession if you've only got 1 shot on target.
Well, that's what, like Martin Ødegaard alluded to there, it's in the boxes. You're looking there, 1 shot on target. When you're playing against City, you know that they're going to have some chances, so you're going to have to create more chances than that. And then what happens is it ends up turning into the defence being put under pressure. They couldn't sustain the pressure they was put under, and then individual mistakes. You can't do anything. You can't legislate for individual mistakes. But then I sound like a broken record, but you have to take the chances. You have to at least hit the target. You have to work the goalkeeper.
How good were these chances at Premier League level?
Very good chances. I think when you look at this one from this cross, this is a fantastic cross. What comes in, and you have to hit the target with that. This is fantastic. This is the one. What you're thinking last night, you're thinking, if I could just get one of those chances. He's obviously taken his eye off the ball that's come off his shoulder. And that's where you have to be looking at that. You have to be heading that right off the meat of your forehead. That one there, you could see it coming, it's looping. You've got to step back so you're not going towards it. I think he's got to take that opportunity to shoot. He doesn't take that opportunity to shoot there. Saka. And again, you have to give City credit because they get the bodies back in there. And then the same with Xhaka. This is his good foot. Look, he's on his good foot. You've got to take the shot. We saw him score that goal against Man United from further out of the box, and so we're not taking the opportunities to shoot. That is another magnificent chance. So, I think there's one as well what came across to Eddie where he just couldn't quite get in front of the defender. He made a run, and on another night, like Martin Ødegaard said there, you can't really blame one person in particular, but it does come down to, on another day, he would have had a hat-trick, Eddie Nketiah. So you're hoping that it doesn't demoralise him too much and he gets himself ready, because Villa's next and we need goals.
I have to agree, especially the last chance that we just saw there. Personally, I don't think he realises how much time he has. And I've been in a situation before. I'm not a natural striker, so what he's done is something that I would have done personally. But I feel like
close your eyes and header it.
Yeah, possibly.
How many times did I tell you to keep your eyes open when you're headering the ball?
That's why I wasn't a striker.
Okay.
Right? But yeah, I think he could have even.
Did he not listen, Dad?
Of course he didn't listen. He didn't think he'd have to header it as much as well because he's so small. But at the same time, you could see Eddie look like he closed his eyes there. He would close his eyes some of the times. I remember.
No, I think I would have tried to take that down.
That's coming too fast.
No, I don't. I'm not like. I feel like that he doesn't realise how much time he's got. If he's controlled it, it's fine. He has time to bring that.
Which one are you talking about?
The last one that comes in. He tries to header it.
Yeah.
I think if there's possibilities that he could have taken it down. I'm not saying he should, but if he's not comfortable enough to go with the header first time,
Sean, he's 6 yards out as a striker. You can't take that down. Because because like the first thing that's going to happen, the ball's coming across at such pace that I don't know how you're going to stop it so as you can get it down, so as you can finish it. You head that in. He's 6 yards out, bro.
I don't know. You know what? I'm with him, but I've got to be honest.
How many Premier League goals did Sean score with his head?
Two. This is what I'm saying, two.
One was against Robert.
One.
At Upton Park.
And he brought you up at this time of night not to argue.
It was a great header as well, weren't it?
You're going off subject.
Header.
Don't argue with your parents at this
Don't
time
argue.
of night.
He's arguing.
Why are you two bullying me?
I'm not bullying you.
No, I have to be the neutral tonight. Sorry to interrupt. We're going back to the Emirates. Belvers, help me out here. Bakary Sagna.
You've only come to us to try and diffuse that family row, haven't you?
Absolutely.
Bakary, how much fun was that out here tonight? And Martin Odegaard talked about the atmosphere. You played in some wonderful occasions here, but this crowd, this stadium, it's had a bit of stick for its atmosphere in the past as well. How good was it tonight?
Well, we can clearly see there is a full connection between the fans and the players, and I think the players realize the support they get from the fans, and it's really important, especially in difficult moments. And tonight was a difficult moment. I believe there is some positive, but as Martin Odegaard said, games are playing on details. Defensively, I believe Arsenal took too many risks, trying to play out from the back, being under pressure, and they got punished when they face this type of players with such quality and clinical in front of the goal. They put themselves into trouble, and this is probably what happened. You have to think as a defender when you're a defender. It's nice to play out from the back, but you have priorities, and tonight they were punished.
The manager has always backed his players, encouraged them to play out from the back, but they'll be kicking themselves in there about the first and second goals, will they?
Of course. Look, they nearly got punished when Zinchenko lost the ball in the box. That was a warning, and unfortunately they tried to play. They have a quality, they have the confidence, but sometimes you need to try and play in a channel when you're under pressure, and especially when you have Nketiah who can run, make the run and put City into trouble.
Tell me about City. Kevin De Bruyne has had a reasonably quiet time for what we're used to from him. How good was he tonight for the goal and assist?
Well, it's good for him to be back on a call sheet. I think it was quite a long time since he scored, and we know the quality he is, and you know how much is important for the squad. You know how much he can be decisive, and he scored and he made an assist. So it's nice to see him back at his good level, not his best level because we've seen better from him, but it's already nice to see the impact he's having on City game.
We had a chat at half-time. You weren't convinced it was a penalty for Saka to score, were you?
No, you know, it's quite difficult. I'm against the VAR for a few reasons, but I still believe we should have a player behind the VAR because there is a motion, and being on the pitch, we have the chance to be able to feel everything, and seeing the replay in slow motions change I think the outcome of the action. So for me, it was not a penalty. You see the keeper trying to stop, and Eddie come and connect to him, but fortunately for Arsenal, they managed to score and come back to 1-1.
Let me ask you another thing that it's so obvious being here in the stadium. Your old mate Mikel Arteta, he never stops on the touchline, does he? He nearly tackled Jack Grealish. He did tackle Kevin De Bruyne. Does he wish he was still out there playing? Well,
you know, he was the same type of player in Everton. He never gave up. With Arsenal, he played a big part. He was a captain for a reason, and he's clearly behind his team. And it's nice when you're a player to see the connection of a coach and the impact he is trying to have on the players and on the team. And he's clearly having an impact on the squad. So, of course, it's a negative night for Arsenal, but they have an important game in hand. So if they win, they still have the lead.
They did hug afterwards as well. Kevin De Bruyne and Mikel Arteta, they know each other well. Tell me about then, in the context of the season, we've still got 3 months of the campaign to go. How big is this result tonight for both teams?
Well, you know, Man City will come out happy with the game, but they're still behind, so they will put Arsenal under pressure until the end of season. Arsenal have important games until the end of season, but they have to look forwards. They have to forget about tonight and maybe try to play differently on the next game and getting back to being clinical that they were. But it seems like offensively they were a bit nervous tonight because some of the chances they had tonight was quite clear and they didn't manage to turn them into goals.
Good stuff, Bakary. Thanks for your company here this evening. Steve, I can tell you he was a very cool, calm and collected right-back. Not quite so cool and calm when he's sat there watching. He's jumping up and down. Not quite as much as Mikel Arteta, but still.
Thank you very much indeed, gentlemen. Terrific work from the Emirates tonight. So Mikel Arteta still searching for his first Premier League point against Pep Guardiola, who he used to sit alongside for 3.5 years at Manchester City. We will get the thoughts of both winning and losing manager next from North London. when we come back in just a couple of minutes' time.
Runner, Haaland! Yeah! Could be that tonight!
So embarrassing. You know something?
Is it embarrassing?
I wouldn't act like I wouldn't be going like that to my dad. I wouldn't do that because it's just disrespectful.
It's such a fibber. When Saka scored the penalty, how was you? When the cameras weren't watching?
I didn't do nothing when Saka. I was just like, I was really fortunate.
I was about to ask where on earth you got that from, because I've never seen it once before. One quick question, how are the hamstrings?
I know.
They're all right,
Are they?
I've been working out, haven't I? So I'm getting my sharpness back.
He said that with a straight face almost as well. Let's get a bit more serious. Here are the post-match thoughts of Pep Guardiola.
What an intense physical battle that was.
Yeah, two sides. The first half, Arsenal was much better than us. We were not good enough, intense. Maybe because I changed something and it didn't work. In the second half, we were more aggressive. We were much better, and yeah, we did it.
How important was the introduction of Akanji when he came on? Because that seemed to switch things a little bit.
I would say before Manu Akanji came in, the team was playing much better. For the first minute of the second half, the team was completely different. We pressed more high, more intense. And I think Bernardo jumped really well to Odegaard, and after Ruben jumped perfectly to Odegaard and didn't have this extra man in the middle that they create. And Kyle and Manu, Ruben, and of course Nathan, they make an extraordinary, because control Saka, control Martinelli and Ketia is not easy.
Do you think it was a penalty? I was doing the commentary. I didn't understand why it was given at the start. I was seeing the replay and everything. You can see, you can see why it was given, but I'm not too sure it was.
No, I don't know.
It didn't matter in the end, did it? Really? You've got this player up front, Pep.
Because we won, it doesn't matter, of course. Yeah.
Up front, you've got Erling Haaland. And people say, look, he just scores goals. I was watching him tonight. All the time, he's at the centre halves, all the time.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Helped us a lot fighting against Saliba. Gabriel's not easy. And sometimes it's a little bit more. Today, we spoke a lot these days about the behaviour of the defender from Arsenal, how the contact, against them you have to use the contact, you have to use the body, otherwise it will be more difficult. And he helped us a lot for the long balls, because when a team play man-to-man and leave just the keeper alone, at the end you have to use this kind of a little bit weapon that we have with Erling right now, and it was a turnover in the second half.
The way that Arsenal fans reacted at the end is almost as if they think it's over. It's half of the season roughly to go. I mean, nothing can be decided tonight.
If they win the game in hand, they are the top of the league. So what they have done is incredible. The important is that still we are there. The important is for that help us to be, for the qualification for the Champions League next season. But this league will be decided for the last 8-10 games, and still 15 games to play is a lot. And now Champions League is coming, Europa League is coming, many games, a tire for the people, the players. But of course, it was important to be here, because 6 points behind just in case we'll lose. When one game in hand, 9 points, hypothetical happen, recover 9 points to Arsenal is not easy. But no, we're close, especially for the fact how we behave really well in the second half with a lot of personality to do it.
Well done.
Thank you, guys.
Interesting insight into the difference in tactics in that second half and to what we saw, Sean.
Yeah, well, I think
you mentioned it. Remember when you said it?
Yeah,
drop back. They pushed us back.
Yeah, and I think Arsenal accepted that. I think Arsenal needed to just stick with the way they were in the first half and be a little bit aggressive, because I think that may have put City on the back foot. But the deeper Arsenal got, it kind of allowed City to be more aggressive, especially in the final third. And that's where all the problems I felt started coming for Arsenal. They was trying to be too cute and clever, because neither team liked to play those long balls out the back. So they always try to play out the back. And if they don't get it right on the press, the chances will be created from those mistakes, and that's exactly what happened.
I think that Arsenal and what they've been doing up to this point, has been successful. I think even in the first half, though, Sean, you know, Arsenal did play out and beat the press, come out around the sides and that by the fullbacks and stuff like that. But then the second half, like he said, they got tighter. They pressed a lot quicker and more aggressively, like you say. And then they forced the mistakes, and then they punished us with the mistakes. And when you're having one shot on target, and then City are going to get better in the second half, they're going to get chances to their top guys, and they will take them. It's a lot of pressure on the defence, and that's why the individual mistakes then come in.
Pep didn't really want to answer the question whether it was a penalty. It didn't matter in the end, but it did at half-time. We had a long debate about this.
Sean didn't think it was a penalty.
I understand why it's given, but I think if they're going to give that, they have to be consistent across the board with that, because there's been a lot of that this season that hasn't been given. So, in general, like you said, it doesn't matter now, but at the time I was raging about it.
Yeah. You know, the thing is again, you know, you're seeing decisions where, you know, Dermot explained it quite well, to be honest, and you accept it. And of course, I'm going to accept it. Your team's getting a penalty, but like if that was against me, you feel like it's a bit soft. But you know, they're given now. Those are given.
And Saka put it away.
Very well.
And at the time, at 1-1, this was an important moment.
A very important moment because you know, we're talking about having to score to get us back in the game that we were doing okay in. It was playing okay in that. And like I said, by then we had chances. You know, so I didn't think it was a bad thing for us to be 1-1 at the time. What you're hoping for is to come out in the second half and try to get a little bit more of the ball to push them back a little bit more, but we couldn't quite do it in the second half.
OK, well, Mikel Arteta was jumping for joy after Saka's penalty, had them 1-1 at half-time. Let's see how he's feeling at full-time.
Mikel, commiserations. How do you sum up the night?
Well, at the end, disappointment because we lost it, and I say we because we lost it. I think it was an incredible battle between two teams, and when we had them, we just give them the goals. Absolutely give them the goals. And against this team, they're going to destroy it, and they did. In the other hand, we had three big chances against this team. We didn't put them away. That was the difference.
Difference at either end, then, in terms of also being clinical. Was that clearly something that could have been better?
You have to be to beat them. We have to be over our level, you know, because they are such a team individually, the quality that they have. But we absolutely matched them. I think we had them in big moments. But again, the games are defined in individual moments, especially in the box, and they were better than us.
You got a penalty. Should there have been a second yellow card, do you think, for the goalkeeper, Ederson?
I haven't seen the action again, but we were discussing that.
How do you view your team's performance? At half-time, did you think this is our game to win?
And the second half as well, we have certain periods that we were really imprecise. The restarts of play, we didn't read the situation well enough. We played fast when we didn't have any advantage, and we put ourselves in trouble, which, okay, we can accept that, but still the way we gave the goals away is just at this level.
You did
possible.
Clearly that you said, though, pre-match we play the Arsenal way, and do you think maybe then you overplayed in terms of...
In certain areas of the pitch, especially after regaining the ball deep, yes. You don't play that. You have to play a different game, and we didn't read those situations well enough.
What did you make of Manchester City in the second half? Was there an element of their experience in terms of being champions, in terms of being down this road before?
I don't know. I didn't see any difference there. I saw, that they were man-to-man. They went a little bit higher up on the field, but we get out of the press as well in many situations. Good, but we didn't really understood when to play and which kind of ball to play in certain areas, and we got punished.
It's a tough run for your team right now. What's the message to the players and, of course, to the fans? Because the atmosphere tonight, as you know, was exceptional, wasn't it?
That the atmosphere and the performance, I think it was really good. If you take away that you gave Manchester City 3 goals. But for the rest, I don't know what else I can demand to the players to match that level. They are the best team in the world, and we match that level. But after, it's just necessary to do certain things better to beat them.
You talked about belief being key. What now, in terms of belief, do you feel to win this league?
I have more belief because I see a team that is going head-to-head with them.
And now, of course, you can go above them again.
And then,
early kick-off at Aston Villa.
And then you have to go to the next one. And in 3 days, we have another really difficult game. And this league is like that. Every 3 days, you have to be at your best.
But more belief after this that you can win the league?
I have more belief in my players, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, more belief that you can win the league. Do you?
Well, of course, you can't. You're not going to be in an interview and say, no, I haven't got no belief. I don't think they can, when they've played as well as they've played up to this point of the season. And then the champions have to show them what it takes to be champions. You can't lose faith in what they're doing. You have to keep doing what you're doing. And like he said, you know, it is the youngest team in the league. I keep stressing that. And they're going to have to learn quickly at this stage of the season, because you can't make mistakes against teams like that and expect to win games. Of course, you need to take chances. You know, you have to take chances. And like Mikel said, you know, when you're playing against a team like City, you have to play above your level. And a lot of us didn't play above our level today, so we missed chances that we should have taken. And that would have then put the pressure on City to maybe come out a bit more, leave a bit more space, maybe get Erdegaard in the game more, Martinelli, who unfortunately to go off again in the game. And Trossard came on and still weren't a lot of space for them. But that's how you have to open these teams up. And if you don't put that kind of pressure on them, then at some stage they'll have their spell, and then they'll punish you because they're not going to miss the chances that we missed.
Sean, what's it like in the situation you've been in, obviously your dad was as well, when you haven't won a league and you're in that season, the one you did, at times, the hard times you get, do you look around the dressing room for the ones who have?
I didn't back then. I kind of looked always towards myself and what I can do personally to help the team, because for me, I always knew like the defensive side I would do willingly. I didn't mind tracking back. I just wanted to be able to give more going forward. And I think the team that especially Arsenal have there, they have the experience of a couple of players that's been through that, and then the rest of the team haven't.
No, they haven't, and that's the point. They have two players, as we know, who are only come from City, have won the league. But Manchester City have 13 who've been this course before. How relevant?
Yeah, I think it's massively relevant. Yeah, it definitely is. It's definitely relevant, but I think as a player, when you're not thinking about that, I think at that game in particular, I don't think none of them looked around.
What about tomorrow when they reflect on it and try and bounce back from it?
No, because I think, like Arteta said, I think they caused their own problems. No matter how well City played in that second half, all those chances that they got still came from individual errors. It didn't come from just City playing fantastic football like for Saka's chance. City pressed them into that position where they forced the mistakes, and then with that quality, then they will make that happen. But would it have happened if they say just hoofed it up the line? We don't know.
The thing I would say with that, with having that many players that have won the league, is that you can then just go and put pressure on a team like Arsenal. Say, well, okay, we'll try and beat us. That's what they've done today, Sean. They've put that pressure on enough. Like when you hear Mikel saying you have to play above your level to beat a City. And like I said, we didn't have enough that could play above our level. City turned the pressure up on us. They put more pressure on us, and we're still trying to play out because that's what we've been doing all season. And what it proved is that City's experience of knowing that Arsenal are going to continue to try and do that, and they know that they've got the kind of players that will put them under pressure, and when we get it, we'll score. That is how we're going to beat them. Didn't have to do too much. You didn't have to pass them off the pitch to do it. You just literally, it's like I remember playing table tennis with the coach when I was younger, and like he was beating me all the time. I said, why can't I get it past you? He says, because I know I'm better than you, so I'll just wait for you to make the mistake. So that's all what I've seen, what was happening today, is just put more pressure on certain players. They would then make the mistakes, and then you go and capitalise on the mistakes.
That's a brilliant analogy. Did you get better at table tennis, by the way?
Yeah, but I never beat him.
Never?
But like it's something, never ever beat him. I hardly got any points against Peter. His name was Peter. I'll never forget it because like he was so good. But the thing, what it was, is that it taught me something. That if you're better than somebody and you're going to play against them, then let them. You just play your normal stuff and let them make the mistakes because they're not as good as you.
That's fascinating. Did you ever play table tennis or?
No, no.
Good.
No, but I think
Let's
I
not
can beat
open any
him.
more
I think I
wounds.
can beat him.
He couldn't beat me at table tennis.
I think I can beat him.
He won't beat me at table tennis.
I know I can beat him,
Okay,
actually, more to the point there.
Okay.
No problem.
We'll discuss that in a minute. Let's have a look at the fixtures coming up, because it is about how they respond. And this is interesting because you think, for Arsenal certainly, that they have a favourable run of fixtures now?
Well, you think... The problem is that you're looking at a game, we got beaten by Everton the other day. And then, Brentford, again, we talk about the Brentford game, but that was a tough game. All of those games now for Arsenal in this current climate, with them now dropping to second and maybe a little bit low on confidence, are tough games. Villa will want to bounce back from their game. Leicester are in good form at the moment. We've seen Everton have a little change of form, obviously lost against Liverpool, but, that was the derby. Bournemouth, you're probably hoping that you can go at home against Bournemouth, you can beat them. Fulham's going to be tough and Palace is going to be tough, 2 London derbies. So none of those are easy, but that's what you need. This is what's going to happen at this stage of the season. You're going to get games where those games and those teams want to come to Arsenal and they want to beat them. Arsenal have to now bounce back. We're still in a title race. We're still in it. We win our game in hand, we're back amongst it. So it's not too doom and gloom. It's disappointing, but it's not too doom and gloom. But none of those are really easy.
What about City's run? Obviously, they've got to play Newcastle and Liverpool in the next 6.
I think they're the ones that stand out to me, to be honest with you. I think that it will be hard at the City ground at Forest away to start with, but I think they should win the first 2 games for me personally, especially on the form that they're in right now. I think Newcastle will be a very tough one, the way they defend. Palace always seems to be a tough one for City as well. They always seem to concede a goal. But Liverpool, I think, is the one that may cause us problems, because I feel like the way they played when I watched them their last game, I think it was yesterday,
much better.
They look much better. They look back to the Liverpool that we used to see, the high press, the quick breaks, and we know that is one thing City never really deal with too well, when teams just hit you off the counter-attack from a corner. So I think Liverpool's the biggest threat to me right now.
Yeah, but Sean, I see a couple of... I see with City the way they're playing now, I see them, maybe we know that Palace caused City problems and Liverpool look like they're getting form, but the rest of them, I think City beat them comfortably.
We have to factor in the obsession of the Champions League, which is resuming in the next couple of weeks as well. And Arsenal don't play in the Europa League till March, and we don't expect many of the Premier League players to.
Yeah, but we know that what the Premier League means to Pep, and of course we know that City are on a quest to try and win the Champions League. But with those games, I can't see City losing any of those games.
Even this weekend, Arsenal play first. Even in a couple of hours, they could be back top of the table before City play. Are we at the stage where even these little things now can?
Well, it does matter, and this is what's important now. It's important for Arsenal to win that game, so as they can say, "Listen, we're not going away." It's vitally important that they do that, because they've got to bounce back from it. They've done brilliantly up to this point. You don't want it to all fall away. A lot of hard work, good work's gone into this part of the season, and this is the testing part of the season. So we need them to answer back what's going on, win the game in hand, and then say, right, let's see what you got now.
And this is where I think now the experience of them going the full yard of a title race comes into play, is that if Arsenal win, they've been there before, so they will just get on with that game as if that didn't happen. They know now that all they need to do is just do their job. They don't think about anybody else, and that's what I think City's always been good at, whether they're either chasing or on top of the pack. They basically just don't care about nobody else. They just know as long as they keep winning, it's up to everybody else, and that's where I think they'll benefit.
I was just going to say, when we won the league, I know you won it as well, but I was in a much better frame than you.
But you know what? I'm going to let you have that one, Dad. You can have that one, because it's not been a good day for you.
Are you confident there's enough, 1 point from 9, there's enough in that to go to Villa and bounce back straight away?
Yeah, absolutely do. Yeah, because... and the reason why you have to think that as well, Steve, is because I think they have to. They have to, somewhere along the line, they've got to win a game again, because it's been a few games now, they've not won a game. They need to win a game again, get their confidence going, get Eddie going, maybe nick a couple of goals. I know that Jesus is not a million miles away now, so you're hoping that he'll be back soon, maybe. But what's got to happen is we need some form of injection of something somewhere to bring confidence back into that team.
One final question. Has he been humble enough in victory for your
side? He's been really good. I'm really proud of the way he's acted. It makes me proud of him.
It's been fun. The blockbuster didn't disappoint. We'll see you soon.